right, guys. Hey, Paul McClain here, and I'm excited. I'm bringing you somebody that really has taught me a lot about business and many other facets of just going out there and financially making money. And Sean, I think we met back, 9 years ago now?
Probably, yeah. Actually, I think I met you in 2008.
Okay, so it's been I think it has been 13 years. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've almost known each other more in my life than we've not known each other.
You just started puberty.
Yeah, exactly. my facial hair, I had like 2 spots, but I was trying to grow it out.
Yeah,
I had a soul patch on the side of my face is what it looked like. But it's been a fun ride, man. Last 13 years, I think that as you go back in life, for me personally, there's certain relationships I go back and say, man, this one has provided a lot of value to me. It's been something that I've become a better version of who I am because of it, and I value you, man. And I could say your relationship with me has served me very well. And I want to kind of go through today, do it in a different format. There's a lot of lessons I'm sure we'll pull out of kind of just the last 13 years and what it looked like from us getting together and the businesses that kind of persisted from Family First Life and the practice company and things like that. But dude, I remember meeting you at the prior company, and you were not as excited as I was about the prior company. Back then, dude, I was like, and the funny thing is, I don't think you know this until you step out of it. But I didn't know, I was in a trance, dude. I was like, this company's enough. That's what the Bible says about Jesus. But it was just interesting, man.
Right.
And I was like, let's go. Now I was making a little money.
Right.
Which kind of helped validate the way I felt about it. And then I was buying into all this, but you didn't see it like that,
Yeah. And I think that's a fair assessment. Matt Smith and I got in this business together, and our approach, we were coming out of a failed real estate venture. That was what we were going to do. Matt made very good money in the dealership world. I had sold a technical company to Harley Davidson, and so right around the time when the real estate market was crashing, remember 2008, and you owned real estate. You probably still do. I mean, that was kind of a thing, right? Yeah. And there was some sex appeal to owning real estate. Problem is, I found out that we were really bad at it on developing real estate and managing real estate. So we looked at people we knew who were like us. So, we didn't have a Stanford MBA. We weren't members of the Black Skulls. What do we do? And the people that we saw that were successful were in the insurance and financial services. So we were going to do that. But there's that fear of what you don't know, you don't want to miss out on. Mm-hmm. So, Paul, we did health insurance, property and casualty, life insurance, financial planning, you name it. And when we first got started, Matt said, I'll do this life insurance. I found this company that I think might be a good fit, and they had some leads and whatnot. And I think where you saw that disconnect, getting back to,
yeah.
Can you hear me now? I feel like I hear myself more.
I can hear you good,
dude. Hearing myself, this is what most of my day is like, right? It's me talking to myself. Should I say that or not? But it was when Matt writing the life insurance turned into this didactic lessons, right? Like this, hey, I'm part of maybe a cult, right?
Right.
That's where, I think that when you saw a little bit of that, hey, nice to meet you. Are you a cult member also?
Because you were kind of like there and then not there. And then when FFL started, dude, you became highly involved. Where you became an integral part of us really building the business from the starting point. For me in the beginning of a Family First Life, man, and I think this is still applicable to many different agents, you have to, you need advanced market sales. And sometimes when you don't know you need it the most. Like that week where you had 4 chargebacks, or then when we left, we had litigation and things like that going on.
Right.
And I remember you coming in and talking about that. And dude, I can go back and look at my bank account and look at how essential that one annuity was.
Yeah.
When I needed it most, where I wouldn't have been able to invest in the leads and the things like that the following week if that didn't pop. Yeah. And you became such a big part of us building the business. And so I remember at the prior company, you were kind of you knew a lot. You had licenses. You were very much capable of bringing value there, but it wasn't attractive. It was almost like it was an elementary type business.
Right.
And then when FFL launched, it was like, this is going to be an adult business where we value like learning, knowing, building a business, none of the tactics of how do we keep people in and rah and smoke and mirrors and the cultish kind of stuff. Did you kind of feel like it was like that for you? Is that why you stepped in and finally was like, I'm going to put my time, energy, and effort into FFL and what you already knew?
Yeah, there's really two parts to it. One, give Matt Smith a lot of credit because he was so successful early on. So I'm running a property and casualty company. I'm running health insurance. We're doing it all. And we found that Matt doing the life insurance, and we learned about this thing called an annuity. We couldn't even spell it, but we understood that it existed, and we just stumbled into a couple opportunities with that. We looked at the P&L, and we said, wait a minute, we made more in this 1 month focusing on life insurance annuities than we have for the entire year focusing on property and casualty. And property and casualty, I mean, you've got 19 children, right?
Right.
Hey, we bought a new car. We added a driver. We just got in a wreck. We wanted.
Right.
It's a zoo, right? So from a business standpoint, we shed those things. We focused on life and annuity. But what I was focused on, which was a little bit more of the advanced markets, it was more of the maybe some IUL stuff, annuity stuff for sure, security stuff, which I know we don't do initially at Family First Life, but now we've expanded out through integrity partnerships and we have that opportunity. I give Matt Smith credit for early on kind of leading the way, and I give Sean Mike credit because when he formed Family First Life, we were in discussions, and I said, well, I'm going to go in this path. He says, well, let's do that together, right? Let's run that so we have multiple facets that agents can succeed in. Because Sean Mike also, and people don't realize this, he was an annuity gangster too. Mm-hmm. He understands the value of it. He was, well, I guess the carrier doesn't matter, but yeah, he would sell those annuities, and that commission comes in and it helps. Because we were talking in the car, and if people don't think that a Porsche Taycan can off-road, I just saw that it can. We literally went off-roading here.
Well, I was trying to impress you.
It worked. It really worked. I thought we were going to bottom out. But, sorry, I got sidetracked. We talk about kind of these generational things. The OG Family First Life, the Matt Smith, the Sean Mikes, the Andrew Taylors, yourself, that kind of first group, we couldn't have afforded to stay in business. There was pressure from lawsuits. There was pressure from leads. The lead warehouse burned down. Mm-hmm. That's not a joke. Like that's a lot of seemingly insurmountable challenges that you have to overcome. We had to turn over every rock. And doing the advanced markets, the annuities and whatnot, made a big difference to us. And I think it's coming full circle. So for a while, it seemed like we had a lot of agents and agencies who were singularly focused. Like, I just want to focus on final expense. I just want to focus on general life leads and internet leads. And they work great, and you get paid well, and we have great carriers and contacts for that. But it's come full circle where with any certain level of saturation or just wanting to optimize your time and the client you sit with, because I talk about the funnel. At the top of the funnel, no one has a perfect funnel. You're a good salesperson, but not every lead you bought turned into a sale. There's a tapering. Mm-hmm. And with that tapering, leads are what we put in there, which is a lot better than getting on the phone and calling your 200 friends, okay, because that's going to be a very quick venture. You're going to run out quickly. So you put the leads in, you call, you set appointments. Does every appointment you have turn into a lead? No. Or turn into a sale? No. There's the one legs, the no-shows. Yeah. There's the people that don't get qualified in underwriting. It tapers down. So when you have a client that you is actually listening to you and wants your help and needs your help, the ability to offer them more than one product is infinitely valuable. And so I think we're coming back full circle and we're saying, hey, we want agents to have the most amount of staying power. And we want them to be able to use their license. Because that license, it's a life insurance license, Paul. But that sometimes gets misconstrued or misunderstood that you can only sell life insurance. Life insurance protects human capital. Right? If you pass and die, Natasha and the girls, and what's the boy's name?
Psalm.
Psalm. P-S-A-L-M?
Yep.
Okay, so it is a P.
Yeah. We snuck it in there.
Yeah, that works.
You know, kinda, that is a P,
think
right?
about it for a second, but it's kind of like pseudo-Federan, right? What
That's
else?
actually his nickname.
Is it
No,
pseudo? But if you pass, your human capital is worth something. You've still got the ability to exchange that for financial capital. But your license also allows you to sell FIAs, to sell MIGAs, to sell annuities.
Yeah.
And that is how we protect financial capital. So I think that awareness is coming full circle, and that OG crew, the people who are first out there just trying to make sure we could pay for legal bills, just trying to make sure that we could afford our leads and feed our families, we're seeing it come full circle. So, it's a vital part of what we're doing.
I think when the company, like, I think you saw through the other company and how it was about making money off of people.
Right.
And I know when I sat down with Sean Mike originally, his vision of, like, giving back as much as you possibly can and just being able to live on what you can survive off of and giving everything else away, opposed to how much can I give away and it still be a big profitable business. Like, it was just a different vision he had. And I think that getting to know you, Sean, like, your desire was the same. Like, this is going to be a company that we teach people how to go out there and be educated to provide more value to people. And if more value is provided to these, middle income Americans, there's going to be more money made for the agent. The whole concept of you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. But, when you came on board to FFL, like, I just saw your desire to help every agent become the best agent they could be. Because the reality is this, final expense and mortgage protection, like, that's a great base, that you got to have a foundation and have something that produces the majority of your income. And that's what it was for me always. And I think that's how it is for most producers. But when I was able to provide more value to a client, dude, it did something to me. I feel like I was better at final expense and mortgage protection because my personal identity was, man, I know stuff about clients' retirement money.
Right.
I'm sitting with this Bob and Mary, and they don't have more than 80 grand in their 401k. Man, they've been struggling their whole life to get by.
Right.
There's been people that have tried to take advantage of them, but I could come in and be of value to them. And, dude, it felt so good. And I think that's, I'm not good at a lot of things, but servicing families and working the middle income American market, dude, I've loved it. I've had agents come behind and I'll give them reviews to go sit with clients like, dude, your clients love you. And it's not because of I'm anything special. It's because of the value and passion behind how I packaged the value, because to me it was so rewarding and fulfilling knowing I'm giving them value. And a lot of that came from you putting together the advanced market sales the way you did. Like, it was chewable, so to speak. Like, I was able to still focus on my final expense and mortgage protection, and then once a week I was plugging into the calls, the advanced market sales calls, late at night. And this is no kidding. I had an accountability card for myself, Sean, and this is going back to the day one of FFL. And I would give myself a red, yellow, or green on these things. And one of them was like final expense, red, yellow, green, mortgage protection, phones, in-home, advanced market sales, personal development. So I had a regimen of, I wanted to read a book a month or whatever that might be, affirmations in the morning. I had business development as well. A part of my business development was I had to watch 3 hours of advanced market sales in addition to what was live, because one of my non-negotiables was I had to always be on it live. And I would just trick myself into thinking, like, if I missed it live, what happens if that next appointment, I had a scenario that if I knew what I knew from getting on that call, I would have been able to help that client and serve them and make an extra $8,000. And I'd almost trick myself, like I would lose that. Like, I'm going to have that happen.
Right. Fear of loss.
So that business development was easy. So to me, it was like, I looked at it like the school teacher that's making money teaching, but they want better. So they go to college at night, night classes, because if they can improve their education, they can get a pay raise. So to me, it was the same way. In the income producing hours, I was focusing on what I was simple and what I could gather right away. But continuously, each and every week, I was taking the night classes, so to speak. Yeah. And I think that's an approach that everybody should have. Every agent watching this, if you don't have that approach, I wonder if you would if you knew what it was costing you.
Yeah,
I bet you would.
It's a good way to look at it. Yeah. And I think intimidation is there, and part of my job is to quell that intimidation. It's not intimidating, and I can tell you why. But before we talk about that, I want to touch on something you had said. The clientele we work with, it is the underserved. You call them the middle American. That's probably a nice way of putting it. I call them the underserved because the average annuity we do is if you go to, I won't name names of brokerage firms, but if you go to certain investment companies, that is not even half of what you need for them to even talk to you.
Right.
It's a different business model. And so here you take someone, you come from a blue collar background, right? I come from the same thing, right? A single mom working for the Catholic Archdiocese of Seattle for, I think, like 119 years she did, right? And she saved up, get this, $38K in her 401k, right? Or 403B or whatever they have. Do you think XYZ brokerage, do you think that financial advisor, and there's some very smart people, and they're doing a good job, and they're out there helping clients, but it's the clients that have $10 million of investable assets. Sure. That's where the money is, right? Your time is finite. I don't blame them. That model, the way it works, and I'd say this to financial advisors or to insurance agents because they get intimidated by it. You serve the underserved, that is a fantastic niche, and it's wide open. If someone has $130,000 of investable assets, you can help them better. I would argue with an FIA, with a turnkey. Hey, this thing automatically will never suffer any losses. It automatically eliminates or reduces fees, and it automatically can be turned into a paycheck for life. Like that's all that person needed. And so we have to help agents gain confidence in doing that. And so they feel like, okay, I'm helping the people I want to help. Because that's an important part of it. You're sitting down with the people already. And you know what I haven't figured out is an alternative to that prospecting. Why is the teaching that you do with your agencies that we've seen being taught from the top down for the last, since 2013, why is that a piece that is still valuable? Because I have no way, Paul, and trust me, I've tried, of creating a lead system that says, here's a qualified person who has $400,000 in the IRA and they want to buy an annuity.
Dude, we've tried it.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I remember me and Andrew did our first seminar, you know.
Oh, at the country club?
At the country club, dude. Yeah. And we're like, man, this is going good. Like, we're excited. And then we said, hey, you know, we got some good dinner that's planned after this. You know, we're going to have some steak and stuff. And we look, and there was these two ladies in the back like, yeah. Gave each other a high five, and I was like, yeah, I bet they're here for the annuity presentation, you know, and we wrote zero and spent like $8,000 on that event.
Exactly.
But you're exactly right, man. Like I have agents sometimes will reach out like, dude, give me the perfect annuity lead. I'm really good at that. And it's like, dude, I think it's a final expense lead is what it's always been for me.
100%.
And I remember even hearing this at the prior company, to your point about Sean Mike being involved and being good at writing annuities and hearing this, and it helped me. He said, my first annuity I wrote was, and it was in a trailer home. Yeah. He's like, I just didn't prejudge. And then I thought like, man, I think that I ask the question, even if sometimes I don't ask it because I'm looking at what the client's situation financially is on the financial inventory. So before I get to that question, I'm like, I could skip it, save 2.8 seconds, and that's worth it.
Right.
But I would even ask it in such a way where I would almost like be validating the fact that I didn't think they had it. And the reason I know that, Sean, is, man, there was so the first year with FFL, like, you know, mail house burned down. Yeah. And it's just funny, man. Like, it's so easy as you get further away from something to lose grasp of what it really looked like. Like, if people, you know, knew what it looked like we were joking, like flying Southwest. And we, you know, you used to put me down as a lap child because we'd save $82 on a seat and you just hold me, you know, which is interesting because as I look in this, I had Casey make me taller than you because when you're sitting down, you don't know how tall somebody is. You see that?
That's effective.
Yeah. So nobody knows that I'm actually not taller than you right now. So we could do that. But back in the day, I was your lap child. You know, we were kind of joking, but dude, like we were any way we could save a nickel, man, to get this business going. Yeah. And we knew how to sell and stuff, but it was still like you know, I love what Sean said the other day. He said, like, if you knew how painful it was to build a business with giving out 140, 145s in the beginning, because a little and a lot works out. Yes. A little and a little does not.
It's a tough model.
Yeah. It's like selling, you know, the local hardware store, if they're selling for the same margin as Home Depot is, they couldn't stay alive because they don't sell enough. 1% on, $1,000 a day doesn't keep your store open. 1% on a million will.
Right.
And so, but back then it was different. You know what I mean? Like, to try to get this thing moving and going, and we had to do a lot of things and just figuring it all out. But
and real quick, access to various lead types, and all leads work a little. I know everybody, wants to chase that perfectly, the golden lead. They all work a little. They're going to cost money, and you're going to get a multiple. If you're really bad, but you're working 3 to 5 times, and if you're really good and you're working, maybe 20 times, right? Your investment on that. But people don't realize. I mean, it used to be, you better pick us at the airport or we can't make it to the training because we spent our last dime on this. Exactly. We were joking about Frank Euphemia, who his integrity deal announcement was there. You go to Baltimore, that's an expensive flight. So I got like 4 legs, bounced around on Southwest, and then I stayed in Frank's kids' bunk beds.
No Ubers.
No Ubers.
No, you better pick me up.
No hotel. Yeah.
Remember the pitch? Like, you want to spend some extra time with this person. The pitch was really.
That's right. That was the pitch.
It'd be good to save $42 so we could keep this thing moving. That's a lead that might be turn into something. But dude, like, I think like annual reviews for anybody right now that's not doing those, it's been there for, I'd even say 6 months. I was doing semi-annual reviews because in the beginning we had no leads. Mail house burns down. We're dropping mail, waiting 4 weeks for it to come in. It's delayed, a lot more invested to get it back. And at that point in time, I was like, man, I could either take these leads, go sell, or I can help my agents out and figure out another alternative because we only have so many.
Yeah.
We didn't have final expense in. No internet.
Right.
It was solely mortgrage protection. Remember that?
Yeah.
No CRM.
Yeah.
There was no let me go on the CRM and buy 80 leads that have just popped up magically in that last 2 hours. It wasn't that. And so I remember being like, okay, I'm going to do some reviews, and that year that seemed like, man, this sucks. The good that produced for me was getting these reviews done. And I wrote over that year off reviews without a lead. And I wrote the most I had in annuities. I wrote in personal production. Back then, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that, dude, I was asking all these clients about annuity money, but the way I was asking them was a lack of confidence or just checking the box off, or maybe they didn't trust me enough to disclose it. But that annuities, I had done the financial inventory the first time I sat with them. So how did it all magically appear? Maybe they didn't trust me yet then, and now I'm coming back and I'm exceeding expectation, and now I've got more of a raving fan of this is my dude, and let me go ahead and tell you what I've got. But I wrote that I don't know where it came from because I know for a fact I asked those questions back when I first sat with them 2, 3, 4 years prior.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. I think there is some level of confidence that you have to have, and what we have set up with the advanced market sales team for Family First Life is let us be your confidence. The way we train. And if you email us, info at fflams.com, we can send you some of the training videos. The getting started videos are right there on the website. But we train that you don't need to be an expert on all annuities. You don't need to know the illustrations. You don't need to know the rates, which carrier. You just have to ask the golden question. And so if you ask a golden question, you say, what do you have that acts like insurance? Do you have a 401k, an IRA, something that's going to go over to your to your spouse? So if you die, Paul, Natasha would get this. It kind of is a self-insurance idea. You don't have to have any expertise in annuities to ask that question. And if they say, yes, I do, you ask them the subset question. You say, well, what are you doing to protect that money? And I can look at you and say, I don't really know. Well, we specialize in asset protection. That's literally what we do. We're one of the nation's leaders in asset protection. I'm going to come back next week the same time and show you some options. Now, did I say anything about the rate or the illustration or the company or anything? I really didn't. And what I'm getting at is to your point that that's all the confidence you need to have. And so what it probably was at some point either you're really desperate, you need to make the money, and that extra $150,000 that year went a long ways, or you had settled with the idea that this answer doesn't have to come directly from you. You just know that you have the ability and the licensing to provide this answer. And when we deal with the underserved, you're dealing with people who maybe they've saved up $200,000. If the market corrects, we're not talking about calamity. If the market corrects, it just goes 10%. What's 10% of $200,000? It's $20,000. To that person, think about your mom. Think about my mom. What does $20,000 represent? That's 3 years of them blood, sweat, and tears, right? That's the clientele you're dealing with. So think about it on their level. Give yourself more credit in what you can provide. Because a fixed index annuity does 3 things. One, it eliminates all market loss. You're going to sleep well at night. Moshe Milevsky, Nobel Prize winner, finance professor from York University, he did a study. We all have heard that the market goes down roughly a quarter of the time, historically speaking, since 1970, 26.3% of the time. But if you look at it on a monthly basis, the S&P 500, on a monthly basis, it's 38.7% of the time. So humor me, and let's round that up to 40. Retirement is not done in year look-backs. Retirement is done night by night. And if Fox News, the internet, MSNBC, your friends are talking about at the barbershop, the market's tanking. It's the president. It's and all this stuff that's totally misconstrued. But that's what people think. How well do you sleep at night knowing that you're having to take money out and you'll never put money back in, and you have to live another 3 decades off that money? You're gonna freak out, right? You can assuage that with your license. That's what agents need to know. So you eliminate all market lists. Or market loss. Secondly, with a fixed index annuity, you're going to participate in market gains. So it has much higher earning potential than just sticking your money under the mattress or in treasury bonds or all these alternatives that most financial advisors are going to provide. And then lastly, you can create a paycheck for life. And so those 3 things, have confidence in those 3 things. And in doing that, knowing that our team, you send the scenario over to us, all you have to do is book that next appointment. And that's confidence you need. And that's probably that gateway from you meeting those people and writing no annuities, then writing $2 million annuities, is you had something that gave you confidence in that, right?
That's so good, dude. I think it's like, the question is like, where is somebody borrowing their confidence from? Because it's borrowed confidence. Until you have your own confidence from what you've actually now validated and you can see the evidence. And a lot of times people borrow their confidence from their past setbacks, failures, identities, things they've gone through, or they borrow their confidence from their bank account and, I'm not in a good all these different things, and it's leaving you insufficient. So you're trying to go out there and provide value, but your bank account's insufficient because you're borrowing confidence from the wrong place. And I think that's it's essential, man. Like as you're going through those 3 things, man, I can flash back to 2013, 14 and hearing you say those same things.
Right.
And thinking dude, this isn't that deep. I need to memorize that. And then writing it all down, listening to it over and over and over and over again, and I'd memorized that. So all I had to do was go memorize a couple of things. And then once I found the money, and if somebody asked me a question, I remember saying, that's a great question. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. I'm about 99% sure of the answer, but I want to be 100% before I tell you anything. I'm going to check with the financial experts and get back to you. So I'll include that in my response next week when I come back out. It was that easy. So now that was my response, no matter what they would bring to me that I didn't know. All I needed to know was those 3 things, and then know a way to reach out and get support. It's no different than, dude, if I'm walking down a dark alley on D Street in Victorville, which you've not yet been there. We might need to go. We might need to go visit it just for experience purposes. But if I'm walking down the dark alley and it's just me, and it's late at night, dude, I'm kind of sketched out. I'm not very confident because it's just me, and I might not have nothing on me. And there's people looking at me, but if I'm walking down with you and some karate, some boxing and stuff, I might antagonize somebody just to see you drop them. My confidence is borrowed, dude. I don't know it, but I'm with somebody that does. And that's what everybody on here gets with FFL. You don't need to.
That's a good point.
You're walking around with a posse, a tribe that can give you the right feedback, support, structure, direction to help you go out there and see the success. And then once you have it, now you've got it. Great. Now, by the way, now you give it to somebody else. Let them borrow it from you. Because now you've got, the experience or the results that shows that, you've done it now. And I think that's a big, big part of it, man. Sean, let me ask you this, dude. Did you see the company going to where it is now back when you first were like, hey, I'm going to lock arms. I'm going to bring advanced market sales to FFL. Did you kind of see it going to the $1 billion that it's pursuing right now?
That's a good question. I would like to say yes, but if I'm being totally honest, it's probably exceeded what I thought. And that, I don't think I'm a pessimist.
Well, that's not true, because we took a personality test a while back, and I thought you were
I was pessimistic.
You were pessimistic.
Yeah, it's true. I guess I'm a pessimist.
You are, dude.
Well, like Sean and I would meet every year, and I'm very proud of the fact that for 2021, Sean said, "Dude, you blew me away." Like, and I say me, it's everybody, and it's the staff at the AMS team, and I think that's the first time I ever impressed him. So I'm quite proud of that. I feel like I should retire now and go out on a high note. But what's your goal, right? So this is, hey, we're going to do this much. What's your goal? How much do you think we're going to do annuities, IULs? And I would say, right? He's like, so I'm like, no, I said 50. Like, are we speaking a different language? So I think that always got pressed up. I'd like to say that, yeah, I totally saw this happening. I believed we could always grow, and I believed there was a need for it, and I think it's just part of, I sometimes have trouble seeing a big picture. Maybe I'm not as much of a visionary. I'm a little bit more of the X's and O's and one play at a time. So I'd love to say that I said yes, but no, this has surpassed what I thought. Now, can I add this, though?
Yeah.
Now that I see it, and I think I have a little bit more understanding of the big picture, I see Silver Lake becoming a partner, a private equity firm joining in with integrity. I see the power of integrity. I understand the landscape more, what some of the top companies do as far as volume per year in premium. Now I really am excited. So my pessimism has waned, and I think I'm very optimistic on what the future will hold. So we finished 2021 in life, in annuity and IUL premium. So we'll get to a next year. And I would not have said that probably, 3-4 years ago. So, yeah.
Well, man, I'll tell you what, dude, it's pretty cool to be a part of something that I think that's bigger than you, like, as an individual. I mean, I think that, God created us with purposes that are bigger than what we could do by ourselves. So you need to have, somebody come alongside to actually make that come to pass, and that's how hey, this is the right vision, the right purpose, the right plan, is because it's that big. And it's been pretty exciting to lock arms with you, dude, and just live life and build a business alongside you, because without you and what you brought to the table, and we could say that about many different people that kind of started with the company and the value they gave, it's made FFL what it is today, and it's put us in a position where $1 billion is something that is going to happen, which is pretty exciting. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for everything.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I think back to when we first started, back 2013, and you did the Monday morning wake-up call. Remember that?
Yeah.
Very good stuff. So likewise, appreciate working with you over the last almost 10 years and what we learned prior to that and where we've come from. So things have changed a lot, but the best is yet to come. So appreciate it. Thankful for everyone listening. And if you need any help, you can contact me, info@fflams.com, and that's what we're there for, is to help people out, help agents out.
All right, guys. Hey, go crush it. Make it a massive week. Get better. Do better. You can just get 1% better in these areas of your business. I promise you, as you look back, that one little podcast, that one discipline doesn't seem like it's significant in the day, but as time goes on, you look back and there's stacking in the compound effect. All of a sudden, you're like, man, if I didn't have that one annuity, if I didn't have this, if I didn't do this, it all adds together to make the business that you look at in the next 6 to 12 months. So make it a big week, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.